Crystal Pepsi becomes one of the biggest drink launches in America, then starts dying before most people even finish forming an opinion. That sounds impossible until you realize the bottle is selling two different stories at once, and your brain catches the lie before your mouth does. The setup starts years earlier. By the late 1980s and early 1990s, shelves are filling with products that promise lightness, purity, less guilt. Bottled water is rising. Natural becomes a sales word. Clear dish soap looks cleaner than cloudy soap. Transparent phones, transparent packaging, transparent everything. People are learning to trust what seems stripped down. Pepsi sees that mood and decides to move fast. Inside the company, there is real excitement. Then, a clear cola could feel like the next leap. A familiar pleasure in a less threatening costume. Same fun, cleaner signal. The product can ride two cravings at once. That matters because cola carries baggage. Dark brown soda reads heavy, syrupy, artificial. They know it belongs to the candy corner of the mind. Take away the caramel color, and suddenly the whole category looks different. You are no longer staring at indulgence. You are staring at a question. The recipe itself goes through years of development. Pepsi's team works on a caffeine-free clear cola and tests it under code names. One of them is Project X. Very 1990s. They are trying to preserve enough cola identity to feel familiar, while removing the visual cue that tells your tongue what's coming. That visual cue matters more than most companies wanted to admit. Humans do not taste with the mouth alone. You taste with memory, expectation, color, packaging, context. Pour a brown cola, and your brain starts filling in flavor before the liquid lands. Pour a clear cola, and that prediction engine stutters. Something small goes wrong. When Crystal Pepsi launches nationally in 1992, the campaign is huge. The ads use Van Halen's Right Now, which gives the product a charged, almost civic energy. This is not sold as a novelty. It arrives like an event. Like the future just rolled into the soda aisle wearing polished shoes. For a moment, it works. Sales are strong right away. Retailers make room. People buy it out of curiosity, but also because the bottle seems to whisper a flattering idea. You are making the cleaner choice. Pepsi executives briefly believe they may have a whole new platform. Maybe even a category they can own. And here's the odd detail that changes the mood. Crystal Pepsi is not actually a health drink, and Pepsi never fully says it is. Yet the branding keeps leaning near that line. Clear in the early 1990s carries moral weight. Many shoppers import their own assumptions into the bottle, then drink sugar and flavoring anyway. That gap between image and substance becomes the center of the problem. People expect a crisp, almost simple taste. Crystal Pepsi still tastes like a sweet soda with a cola ghost floating inside it. Some people enjoy it. Many others cannot file it mentally. Their brain keeps reaching for brown. This is where pre-internet culture makes the whole thing stranger. There is no social media dogpile, no instant consensus graph. Instead, confusion spreads in slower ways, at office break rooms, in school cafeterias, in grocery lines. It tastes off. Somebody else nods because they were already thinking it. The company tries to thread the needle. Crystal Pepsi is positioned as bold and modern, but also somehow lighter. That is risky territory. Regular soda buyers want satisfying cola. Health-conscious buyers are often cutting soda altogether. The product ends up drifting between audiences, visible to everyone and fully claimed by neither. Then Coca-Cola enters with one of the sharpest sabotage moves in brand history. They launched Tab Clear in 1993, a clear version of an already complicated diet brand. Insiders later describe it as a way to muddy the waters for clear colas generally. If clear soda starts reading as diet or weird, Crystal Pepsi takes the hit. Tab Clear matters partly because of what it signals on the shelf. Suddenly, clear cola no longer belongs to one clean, futuristic idea. It becomes crowded, confusing, faintly gimmicky. One brand can teach people how to read a product. Two brands can scramble the lesson. That scramble arrives right when Crystal Pepsi needs stability. Pepsi also tweaks the formula after launch, which usually means something is wrong. Consumers may not know the chemistry, but they feel the wobble. if the first sip is curiosity and the second sip is uncertainty. Repeat purchase gets fragile fast. Big launch numbers can hide that for a while. Then gravity shows up. There is another problem hiding in plain sight. Colas depend heavily on ritual. The dark pour over ice, the familiar smell, the visual satisfaction of that caramel color hitting a glass. Crystal Pepsi removes one of the category's oldest comfort signals. You still get sweetness and fizz, but part of the ceremony has vanished. That might sound minor until you remember how much brand loyalty lives in tiny habits. You reach for a can because it already occupies a slot in your day. Lunch counter, gas station, movie night. Crystal Pepsi asks people to rewrite that habit around an unfamiliar image. Most people will try that once. Fewer build a routine around it. The momentum is slipping. Sales cool. Distribution narrows. Pepsi introduces a reformulated version called Crystal from Pepsi, hoping a sharper identity can rescue the idea. The rename feels like an audible course correction. Shoppers can sense when a brand is suddenly talking to itself in public. The fall is quick enough to seem unreal in hindsight. Launched widely in 1992, pulled from the US market by 1994. About 18 months of real national life. For a product that arrived with blockbuster confidence, that is a collapse. It leaves behind memories bigger than its actual time on shelves. What dies here is not simple demand. The deeper failure is semiotic. The package, color, and cultural moment promise one thing while the liquid delivers another. That mismatch eats trust. You can survive a weird flavor if the label prepares you. You can survive a strange look if the taste is undeniable. Crystal Pepsi asks consumers to bridge both gaps. There is a revealing comparison inside the same decade. Clear beverages that succeed tend to match expectation more cleanly. Bottled waters, lemon lime sodas, transparent sports drinks. Their appearance and flavor story cooperate. Crystal Pepsi walks in wearing the costume of purity while carrying the sensory memory of cola, and that costume starts to itch. People later turn Crystal Pepsi into a punchline. But that misses how close Pepsi got. The company correctly reads a cultural shift toward visual cleanliness. It correctly senses that shoppers are tiring of heavy signals. It correctly understands that packaging can rewrite desire. The mistake is believing those signals can overpower taste memory for long. And taste memory is stubborn. It is built out of childhood, vending machines, pizza nights, convenience stores after school, road trips with a sticky cup in the console. Brown Cola already owns a complete archive inside people's heads. Remove the color, and you do not erase the archive. You make it argue with the present. Years later, nostalgia brings Crystal Pepsi back for limited runs, and people rush to photograph the bottle more than drink it. That is the final clue. As an object, it is brilliant. As a memory trigger, almost perfect. As an everyday beverage, it keeps running into the same old wall. The concept is stronger than the habit. So Crystal Pepsi dies in 18 months because it arrives at exactly the right moment with exactly the wrong kind of truth. It proves how much of flavor lives outside the liquid. A core cola sounds futuristic until you hold it long enough to notice what your senses already know. Do you remember this? Comment the year you first saw it.